Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a summer reading vlog. So this summer I have a lot of really fun reading plans, so we're going to start getting into that. So I made a summer reading bingo in my reading journal, and I have a bunch of different types of books, different types of genres, prompts to get me started reading. So I'm very excited. One of the things on my list is to read a book outside of my comfort zone. Actually, a lot of the prompts on my list are kind of outside of my comfort zone. I'm just going to read you a few of the different prompts that I have going. So one is just like to read something outside my comfort zone. One is a booktube recommendation. I have a scary book. I've got classic. I have a beach read, a friend recommendation. So a lot of really fun prompts. And as we go through the summer, I'm going to be making different reading vlogs talking about some of the books that I've read or I'm reading for that. So I'm starting out with a book that I've seen a lot recently, not like on the internet, but just like in my real life. And it's a book that has absolutely scared me and horrified me because of what it is. It's a retelling. That book is Jo and Laurie by Margaret Stohl and Marissa de la Cruz. So what this is a retelling of the second part of Little Women. Essentially, Jo and Laurie end up together as kind of what I'm gathering. I started it today. I'm 96 pages in, and I don't like this book. I like the writing style, pretty much. I like a lot of things about it, but the fact that it's Little Women is really bothering me. It's like the authors can't discern the difference between the March family and Louisa May Alcott's family. Pretty much in the first like 2 chapters, they say, okay, like everything from Little Women, like everything. Certain characters that exist, certain things that happen. No, they didn't happen. No, Jo just wrote that in. Another thing that like really ticks me off, and a lot of movie adaptations do this, is they make it that Jo wrote Little Women. And it's not that Jo didn't write Little Women, but she doesn't write it within the context of Little Women Part 1 or Part 2. Later on in the series, there are 2 books after Little Women, they mention that Jo wrote a book about her childhood. But that doesn't happen in actual Little Women. So that always frustrates me, but like literally the whole plot of this book is that she has to write this sequel and she doesn't know what to do. And it's just so frustrating. Like guys, so much of this book is just so weird. They had Beth died apparently as a child. Father is absent, like, which is valid for Amos Bronson Alcott. If you know anything about the Alcotts, you know Amos Bronson Alcott was not the most present father for many different reasons. But like he's just not in the picture. And then Laurie's blonde, which just really bothers me for some reason. Yeah, Meg and John are not together. There's just a lot of things that are really weird. And also just like it doesn't feel like a classic. It doesn't feel like a Victorian novel because they do things and say things that are just not appropriate for the time period. I know I said this in my first reading vlog where I read Marilla of Green Gables. I was like, some of these things would not have happened in a book from this era. But yeah, I'm gonna keep reading it. My friend read it and told me she liked it, so I'm reading it. I will keep updating you. Yeah. This might be the worst book I've ever read. Okay, I just want to like paint the picture for you a little bit of like what's been happening. So as I said, like pretty much they said everything that happened in Little Women, no, did not happen. So Beth is already dead. I don't know if I said this, but she's dead. I spent a lot of yesterday reading. I've read 246 pages of this book. And that is not a compliment to the author's writing or their characterization or the pacing of the book, because I don't think they did good at any of those things. It's only because Louisa May Alcott's characters are in my head. These authors did not do like anything for these characters. They did not add anything. All they did was take stuff away. Like, seriously, people. What are you thinking? There's just so much wrong with this book. Laurie has proposed, I believe, 2 times already, and Joe said no, which only further proves Louisa May Alcott's point. They don't belong together. The authors would seem like they're struggling to find a reason to make them love each other. And there's like no romance. I was expecting romance because this is considered a YA historical romance. So I'm thinking YA historical romance, like it's gonna be cute and sweet and a little bit irritating, but it's just irritating. That is all that this book is giving me, is just irritation. So much irritation. So yeah. Another thing that I think is really weird about this book is that the 2 authors who wrote this book, Margaret Stohl and Marissa Delacruz, I don't know how you say her last name. They're both fantasy authors, and they've both like worked for Disney. Margaret Stohl did like a Black Widow duology, Captain Marvel comics, and she also works on like video games. So this is not like, to me, Little Women. Like, you don't write historical fiction, you don't write romance. I don't really know. And then Melissa, she wrote the Alex and Eliza trilogy, which I just learned is a Hamilton like official fan fiction trilogy. And she also wrote the Descendants books, the Isle of the Lost books, these books. She wrote these. They're not very good. I've read a few of them, not all of them, but a few of them. And some other like fantasy stuff. So I just don't see why these 2 authors thought that they were the people to do this. I don't really know. But I'm gonna keep reading and I will update you as I go. Okay. Oh, I forgot to say, Amy is like dying. For no reason, just for fun, I guess. Meg is such a baby. People, what are you doing? What? Why do authors think that we like to see girls turn guys down and then accept them after they realize they're stupid? Wait, pause for 1 second. This reminds me of a quote from the dear old Mr. Bennet. I think it's like highlighted here. Forgive me, it's not Mr. Bennet, it's Mr. Collins. I can't find the exact quote, but I know he says women say no when they mean yes. And Mr. Bennet is the one who said women like to be crossed in love every now and then it gives them some distinction amongst their friends. It doesn't. I should tell you, if you're a romance author, if you're a historical romance author, if you're anybody, if you're a man, a woman, I don't think women really like to be crossed in love, and I don't think you should refuse somebody just because you think gives you fun. Yeah, so that's, yeah. I'm gonna get back to reading and I will update you when something else happens. It's Monday. I finished Joe and Laurie on Saturday, which is the last time I updated you about that book. It was everything I said it was. I'm gonna do like a big review of all the books I read in this video at the end of the video, but I just wanted to like touch a little bit more on Joe and Laurie, just a little more. Like I haven't talked about it enough. The ending was okay. I didn't mind the ending. The thing that really just doesn't sit well with me is not even the fact that it's about like Joe and Laurie. It's the fact that they have no chemistry, like at all. Like nothing makes me want these characters together. It wasn't a terrible book. Like at the end of the day, I read it really fast. So I'm thinking it's gonna be like 2.5 stars. It doesn't feel like a 2-star, but it doesn't feel like a 3-star. So I'm somewhere in the middle right now. But yesterday, I started reading this book, which is The Amelia 6 by Kristen L. Gray. It is a middle grade. It's quite short. I think it's like less than 300 pages. It is about these girls who are all like really skilled in like science or inventing, things that have to do with like STEM. And they're invited to stay at Amelia Earhart's childhood home for one night. It's winter, it's like Christmas time. And this artifact that was recently discovered is going to be sent to the Smithsonian, I believe the following day, is missing. And so these 6 girls have to figure out what happened. It's super cozy, which I was not expecting that. You know, it's a little middle grade mystery. I'm having a good time with it. It is quite fun. I am chapter 15, so I'm about a third of the way in. I'm going to read more of it. Nothing crazy going on with it. So yeah. It is the next day. I'm still reading The Amelia 6. I have like nothing left. Like I'm almost done with it. I want to start another book today, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. I've got my matcha here and I'm just going to have some reading time. Finished this, but I don't have anything really to say about it. It was good. Wasn't like great. Yeah, the one thing it did though, literally pretty much has next to nothing to do with this besides Amelia Earhart. I started like researching her disappearance. It was like an obsession I had in elementary school, and now I think I'm just going to be listening to podcasts about it, watching videos about it, reading books about it, and it's going to be all I'm going to talk about now. Amelia Earhart. So yeah, that'll be fun. All right, I decided I'm going to start another book, so I gotta go through my books on my shelf and pick which one I want to read. I'm just like staring at them. They're down here. Let me prop this up. This is really blurry right now. It's okay, it's okay. I just don't have all the lights on that I normally would have. Anywho, I think I have 3 options, and they're kind of, maybe I'll just show you the options. I'll just show you what my options are. So my first option is Postcards from Venice by D. Romito. It's about this girl. She's a blogger and she goes to Venice with her mom, I believe. We also, kind of in a, I guess, similar vein, I don't know much about this book. We have Kisses and Croissants by Anne Sophie. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'll just put it on the screen. That girl. It's about a girl who goes to Paris for ballet conservatory, and there's romance. So we have that. And then pretty much the polar opposite from that, we've got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This has been on my TBR for a long time, like a long time. For some weird, morbid reason, I don't really know why. I have weird ideas that I get in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna read this random book and I just put it on my list. Anyways, I'm finally going to read Frankenstein, but it's a horror novel, and I just don't know. I just don't know. And that's scary. I don't know. So I have these 3 to pick between. I have to make a decision. I'm kind of thinking this one. My friend is reading it, rereading it. I've never read it. So maybe I'll go this one to read it with her. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go this one, and I'll update you. See what I think of it, if I think it's good. I don't always have the best experience with YA romance, as we saw earlier in the video with this one. But I'm hoping that this will just redeem romance in my eyes after reading that monstrosity. So yeah, chat soon. Let's talk about Kisses and Croissants. So I've been reading this I read it a little bit yesterday, a little bit today. I didn't read much. I am 123 pages in. It's chapter 14. This book is really cute. I actually was not like, I don't know if I was expecting it to be cute, because I don't always like YA romance, especially when it's like, when they try to tell you it's atmospheric. I always feel like it's probably not gonna be, but this actually is, and I'm actually loving it. It is about, our main character's name is Mia, and she is in Paris for the summer. She's 17, and she's there for ballet school, and she didn't intend to meet a very handsome French boy. So we have like the dance plot, like her working really hard, her doing all that, and then also like her just exploring Paris and like being on her own, and also meeting this really sweet guy. So far it's clean, and there's a couple like little things, but so far I'm really enjoying it. So I'll keep you updated as I continue reading it. But yeah, right now I'm loving it, and it's gonna check off my box for a pink book for my summer reading bucket list. So excited about that. I have to say, all the books I read this week, the spines go together so well. So that's a plus. It is time though for the recap. I'm gonna be telling you about the books, my final thoughts, and my ratings of all the books. So let's get into that. I don't know why I did that. That was really awkward and weird. As we all know, the first book I read will live in infamy forever. Friends, there's been a disturbance in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery because Louisa May Alcott just rolled over in her grave. Yeah, I actually went to her grave before. It's weird, like, when you have someone you look up to, you always like dream about meeting them or something like that. But when a lot of the people that like you look up to are dead, going to their grave is the closest thing you'll ever get to like meeting them. But it's like weird, and it's like, do you smile like in your picture? Do you like frown? I don't know. This is the picture I took. It's super awkward. Anyways, that's not really what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. We're here to talk about Jo and Laurie. So, as you know, Jo and Laurie is a Little Women retelling. It's technically a retelling of part 2 of Little Women. So, Little Women is in 2 parts. In the US, we sell it in 1 part, but it's technically 2 parts. Oh, man. This book, you heard all of my thoughts. You saw my reactions live. This book did not cease to shock me and just appall me in every respect. It was so strange. Yeah, I think though that you should read it. Despite the fact that I did not like this book like at all, you should read it. Here are people who should read it. People who should read this are people who ship Jo and Laurie, because maybe you realize how ridiculous you are. Also, people who ship any other, like, if you ship Laurie and Amy, if you ship Jo and Professor Bear, you should also read this so that you can feel validated. So, those are my thoughts. Final rating on this is like 2.5. The only other good thing that this book did for the world, for me, was make me just really want to reread Little Women and like just devour it, because this book is so beautiful. I think you know this. If you don't know, it's my favorite book of all time. So I 100% think you need to read it for yourself because it's so good. So, yeah. Then the second book I read was The Amelia Six by Kristen L. Gray. It was a cozy middle grade mystery. Our main character, she's very introverted, like we find a lot of middle grade characters. She loves to solve a Rubik's Cube, and she also has a pilot mother who's absent. She gets accepted to go to Amelia Earhart's house for one night with 5 other girls, and they solve this mystery of these goggles that disappear. It was really good, really fun. I love the house museum setting. I am a museum girly. I'm a house museum girly, more specifically, like house museums are the best. This brought me back to like when I interned at a museum, brings me back to like those, just some little things like that, that just made this very special. And of course, Amelia Earhart and like lots of really interesting history, stuff about the 99s, a lot of cool stuff. So I definitely recommend this book. At the end of the day though, I think it's a 3-star read, not quite a 4-star, 5 stars, so yeah. And then the final book, I haven't really given you my final thoughts on this book. I finished it a few days ago from when I'm filming this. And that is Kisses and Croissants by Anne Sophie, last name I'm not pronouncing. So this book surprised me in a good way. As I said multiple times already in this video, I don't love YA romance. I think some of my early experiences with it were just uncomfortable, weird. I read The Summer I Turned Pretty last year, and it was just not for me. It was not for me. But this was definitely more my speed. It's about Mia, as I said. She gets accepted to a ballet conservatory over the summer. She's 17. She meets a guy, and it's just like all of those things mixing together. Her trying to decide like if it's more important to work on her ballet or like foster this relationship. And also one thing I really appreciated was there was an emphasis also on like girl friendships, and I don't always see that in romance, so I really liked that. Now that being said, there were a few things I didn't love, a few like messages I felt like weren't positive or like good. But if you're a teenager, it's totally fine to read this. I think the people I would say like don't read this is like if you're probably under the age of 14, maybe don't read it. Just because some of like the messages about body image and stuff I don't think are positive for everyone, but if you know, you'll be able to discern what's good and what's not. At the end of the day though, I think this is a 3-star read for me, so I think that's my, is that my highest rated read? No, so these 2 both are 3 stars. I think I like this one a little more. I just loved like the food descriptions and the ballet and all these things. It's just like so much reminded me of my own life. Like I think I related myself a lot to the character. I used to be a dancer, and so like it just felt like going back to like summer intensives that I used to do, like reading about all this stuff and like the auditions and performing. I loved that, and exploring and like discovering a new city reminded me of when I went to London, so I really connected to those elements, so it was good. And that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please sure to like, comment, let me know what you thought, let me know what you're reading, what books you think I should read. I love your book recommendations. It is so fun. If you give me a lot of recommendations, maybe I'll read them in a video. I don't know. And please consider subscribing. It really helps and means a lot. And with that, I will see you soon. Bye, friends.